Hello friends, today we are going to see optical isomerism of halogen derivatives. Last year we have seen isomerism. Okay, so I would like to revise once again isomerism or isomers. The compounds which having same molecular formula but different structural formulae. Such compounds are called as structural isomerisms. Okay, now this year we are going to see. Now, the isomerism generally is of two types. First one, structural isomerism, and second one, stereoisomerism. Okay, so last year we have seen only structural isomerism, and this year we are going to see stereoisomerism. And in stereoisomerism, most preferentially we are going to see optical isomerism. Okay, now what is the difference between structural isomerism and stereoisomerism? Okay, now structural isomerism nothing but the compounds of same molecular formula but different structural formulae. Such isomers are called as structural isomers, and the phenomenon is called as structural isomerism. After that we have seen different types of structural isomerism like chain isomerism, position isomerism, functional group isomerism, metamerism and tautomerism. Okay. Now for the stereoisomerism, the isomers which have same molecular formula and also the sequence of atoms or groups bonded to the atom, but the arrangement of that particular atoms or group in the space is different, or we can see the three-dimensional orientation of atoms or groups is different around the central carbon atom. Okay, so such type of isomerism is called as stereoisomerism. Okay, you can see the isomerism in which compounds have same molecular formula and sequence of bonded atoms but differ in their three-dimensional orientation of atoms in space is called as stereoisomerism. Okay, now it is little bit difficult to imagine the stereoisomerism, but you can start to imagine the stereoisomerism so as to you can clarify the concept very well. Okay, now what is meant by chiral carbon atom? Okay, now generally the compounds containing chiral carbon atom are optical active compound. Okay, now what is meant by chiral carbon atom? The carbon atom which contains four different atoms or groups. Okay, now generally the carbon is, or the sp3 hybridized carbon atoms geometry is tetrahedral geometry. Okay, and if it contains four different atoms or groups, if we have considered here x, y, z and w. Okay, w, x, y, z. Okay, so all these atoms are different around the carbon atom. Okay, so such carbon atoms are called as chiral carbon atom. Okay, and that chiral carbon atom are denoted by asterisk mark. Okay, we can take example 2-chlorobutane. Okay, 2-chlorobutane. Okay, now see 2-chlorobutane generally we are writing CH3 CH Cl CH2 CH3. Okay, now 1 2 1 2 3 4 butane. Okay, and at the second position it contains chlorine, therefore 2-chlorobutane. Okay, now consider your this carbon atom carbon 1 carries 3 hydrogen atoms. Okay, Carbon 2 carries one hydrogen atom, one methyl group, one ethyl group and one chlorine atom. Carbon 3 carries two hydrogen atom, one methyl group and here one chloroethyl group, while the fourth carbon atom carries three hydrogen atom and remaining group. Okay, now in this compound, second carbon atom contains four different groups, that is we can write it C H C H3 Cl CH2 CH3. Okay, now see, methyl is one group, hydrogen is one group, ethyl is one group and chlorine is one group. Okay, now this second carbon atom contains all four different atoms or groups. Okay, and therefore this carbon atom is chiral carbon atom and therefore it is denoted by asterisk mark, or we can say it as a star mark. Okay, now next one, the chiral molecule cannot superimpose perfectly on its mirror image. Now what is meant by this? Now first one, upon see mirror image, if we have the compound or if we consider the 2-chlorobutane like this, okay, that means hydrogen atom on central carbon atom is below the plane, which is denoted by dotted line. Okay, now ethyl group is above the plane, which is denoted by wedge line or solid wedge. Okay, now chlorine is in the plane and methyl group is also in the plane. Okay, now the same way, if we kept mirror in front of this molecule, then we'll get the image like this. Okay, now these are the two mirror images. If you tried to lift this image and to match with this image, then the image will be like this. Now see, consider first one, C CH3 Cl C2 H5 and hydrogen. Okay, and you are trying to lift this second image and to match with this image, then what will happen? Suppose your carbon will be this one carbon we have considered, your chlorine atom will be like this. Okay, then C2H5 is here, C2H5, hydrogen will be here and methyl group will be here. Okay, now see, consider hydrogen atom of first carbon atom and chlorine atom of second carbon atom will superimpose. Okay, now here hydrogen atom of second carbon atom and chlorine atom of first carbon atom will superimpose. Here ethyl group both having an angle, that means one ethyl group will come to this side and one methyl group will come to this side and methyl group will superimpose. Okay, that means chiral molecules cannot superimpose perfectly on its mirror images. Okay, and such images are called as enantiomers. We will see in next point. Okay, now see, already we have seen definition of stereoisomers, but once again we will see the stereoisomers, in which the isomers have different spatial arrangement of atoms or groups around the chiral atom, called as optical isomerism. Okay, and the optical isomerism differ from each other in terms of measurable property, and that property is called as optical activity. That means what we have to remember, optical isomers differ from each other in terms of measurable property, and that property is called as optical activity. Now we'll see in next what is meant by optical activity, and before the optical activity we have to see one concept related to light. Okay, now generally we have seen light. Now the ordinary light, if the light is passed, okay, now light can pass in any direction. Okay, that means it don't have any particular direction, and lights are electromagnetic waves having electric and having oscillations of electric and magnetic field in all possible directions perpendicular to the direction of propagation of light. Okay, now see, if we have considered a beam of light, this one is the beam of light, and this beam of light is passing in this direction. Okay, so the oscillations, that means like this, the light will pass like this, and the oscillations are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of light like this. Okay, and when the ordinary light, now this is the ordinary light when it is passed through any direction. Okay, but when this light is passed through a Nicol prism, now we have seen prism in 10th standard. Okay, now we are going to see what is mean by Nicol prism. Now Nicol prism, it is also a type of prism made up of calcite having a special crystal structure of calcium carbonate. Okay, now when the light is passed, now consider the light is passed, if the light is passed through a Nicol prism, now it is in any direction, sorry, consider the light which is passing through a Nicol prism. Wait, we'll see in diagram. Okay, now see, if we have considered the cross section of ordinary light, that means the light can pass in any direction. Okay, all directions. Okay, and if this light is passed through a Nicol prism, then the light will produce, or oscillations of light will goes in only one direction, which is perpendicular to the propagation of light. Okay, now we'll see here the cross section of ordinary light. Here we have shown the lights can pass through in all directions. Okay, but after passing through a Nicol prism, the light will pass in only one direction, and that direction is perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Okay, and this light is called as plane polarized light. Okay, that means the light having oscillations only in a plane perpendicular to the direction of propagation of light is known as plane polarized light. Okay, what we have to remember for the definition of plane polarized light: a light having oscillations only in one plane perpendicular to the plane of propagation of light is known as plane polarized light. Okay, now this light, okay, we'll see next. Now before this I told you what is the Nicol prism. Nicol prism, it is a special type of prism made from the piece of calcite having a crystalline form of calcium carbonate arrangement in a specific manner, and this Nicol prism, it is also called as polarizer. Okay, now next one, it is optical activity. Okay, now what is the activity? Now here the role of Nicol prism, we have seen the Nicol prism converts ordinary light into plane polarized light. In the same way, if this plane polarized light is passing through, if a plane polarized light is passing through aqueous solution of sugar, if we consider, or the compounds which contains a chiral carbon atom. Okay, now if we have considered, see, this one is plane polarized light. Okay, and we have considered here one beaker which contains aqueous solution of chiral compound. Okay, or the compounds which contain a chiral carbon atom, and the light is passing through this solution. Then the light is rotates either right to the plane polarized light or to the left of the plane polarized light. Okay, now this happens due to the property of this compound, and that property is called as optical activity. Okay, and depending on this rotation, in which direction the light is going to be rotated, we can decide the rotation of this optically active compound. Okay, now a compound which rotates the plane of plane polarized light towards right are called as dextrorotatory compound. Okay, while a compound which rotates a plane of plane polarized light towards left are called as levorotatory light. Okay, and dextrorotatory is denoted by D or plus sign. Okay, while the levo is rotated by L or minus sign. Okay, now the dextro means right and levo means left. Okay, so this property is called as optical activity. We can see once again what is meant by optical activity. Now see, when aqueous solution of certain organic compound like sugar or lactic acid is placed in a path of plane polarized light, the transmitted light has oscillations in a different plane than the original plane. Okay, once again revise the concept or clarify the concept. See, we have seen plane polarized light which has the oscillations which are perpendicular to the plane of plane polarized light. Okay, now if this plane polarized light is passing through a solution of sugar or lactic acid, the oscillations rotate or the light rotates in a right side or towards light. If we consider the second case, here we have taken plane polarized light when passing through aqueous solution of sugar or lactic acid is rotates towards the left. Okay, now see, the compound which rotates the plane of plane polarized light towards right is called dextrorotatory compound. Okay, and a compound which rotates a plane of plane polarized light towards left is called as levorotatory compound. Okay, dextrorotatory, it is denoted by D or plus sign, while the levorotatory, it is denoted by L or minus sign. Okay, now see, definition of optical activity. The property of a substance by which it rotates the plane of polarization of incident plane polarized light is known as optical activity. That means it is a property of that compound which is dissolved in water which rotates the plane of plane polarized light. Okay, and that property of substance is called as optical activity. Okay, now the compounds which rotate the plane of plane polarized light are called as optically active compound, and that dissolved compound, if able to rotate the plane of plane polarized light towards left or towards right, or we can say also to clockwise or anti-clockwise. If it rotates towards right, then it is a clockwise, and if it rotates towards the left, then it is anti-clockwise. Okay, and the property of rotation of that plane polarized light is called as, or such compounds are called as optical active compounds. Okay, now the compounds which do not rotate the plane of plane polarized light are called as optically inactive compound. Okay, and the isomerism in which isomeric compounds have different optical activity is known as optical isomerism. Okay, now the isomeric compounds have different optical activity is known as optical isomerism. Okay, simply if we consider 2-chlorobutane, okay, C, if we taken here CH3H C2H5Cl. Okay, now if we have taken here and we have seen the both, sorry, we'll see once again, CCl, C2H5, H5 HCH3, okay, and opposite to this, okay. Now this chlorine is towards right hand side, and if we consider the mirror image of this, then compound will be like this: C2H5 hydrogen CH3, okay. Chlorine will be the right, okay. Now if the plane polarized light is passing through this solution, then the plane polarized light will rotate either in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. In the same way, if the light is passing through this solution, then the plane polarized light will rotate opposite to this, okay. That means, and therefore these two compounds are optically active compounds, and these are the isomers of each other. And type of isomerism, it is optical isomerism, because they are optically active compounds, okay. Now the last concept is enantiomers, and the concept of enantiomers is introduced by French scientist Louis Pasteur, okay. Now before this also we have seen the optical isomerisms are non-superimposable mirror images of each other are called as enantiomers or enantiomorphs or optical antipodes, okay. Now these enantiomers having a identical physical properties like melting point, boiling point, their refractive index and density, all, okay, but except in the sign of optical rotation, okay. If one optical isomer rotates in clockwise, then other optical isomer will rotate in opposite direction, okay. Now the rotation is the one and the same, but the magnitude of rotation is one and the same or equal but opposite in direction, okay. Now the enantiomers having identical chemical properties except towards optically active reagent. And the second one is, that is, one isomer is D isomer and one isomer is L isomer. The compound which rotates the plane polarized light towards right or towards clockwise direction are called dextrorotatory, and the compounds which rotate the plane polarized light towards left or in anti-clockwise direction are called as levorotatory. And if we consider a 50% mixture of levo, 50% of levo compound and 50% of dextro compound, okay, then this equimolar mixture of enantiomers is called as racemic mixture or racemic modification. So we can see definition in proper way: an equimolar mixture of enantiomers, which enantiomers dextrorotatory and levorotatory is called as racemic mixture or racemic modification. Now the racemic mixture is optically inactive, because see, if we considered a mixture, now few compounds or few molecules of compound rotate in clockwise direction while remaining will rotate in anti-clockwise direction, okay. So if we consider this one is +3, this one is -3, then summation of these two will become 0. In the same way, the rotation or optical activity of dextrorotatory compound, which is cancelled by the optical activity of levorotatory compound, okay. And therefore racemic mixture is optically inactive, okay. See once again, racemic mixture is optically inactive because optical rotation due to molecules of one enantiomer, that is D is one form of enantiomer and L is another form of enantiomer, that is the rotation of molecule of one enantiomer is cancelled by equal and opposite optical rotation due to the molecules of another enantiomers, and therefore the racemic mixture is optically inactive. Now this racemic mixture or racemic modification, it is denoted by DL because it contains both dextrorotatory as well as levorotatory, or it is also can be denoted by plus minus sign, okay. Now see, Up till this we have finished optical isomerism of alkyl halides. The next part of the chapter we will see in next video.